Hello, Dr. Nick Mabbott here from Beyond Midnight Consulting with number 11 in the series, The Wonder of Sleep. Last episode, we spoke about getting to sleep in 5 minutes. So the Mabbott method, going to bed 16 hours and 10 minutes after waking up so that we can be asleep, usually within the next 5 minutes. The reason for this is the human body loves rhythms. And our circadian rhythm, which is our sleep-wake cycle, basically loves being on a set rhythm every day and every night. The trouble is we often do a series of shifts in a workplace, whether it's just Monday to Friday, 5 days, or whether it's a whole week of days or nights, 7 days or 7 nights. Some people do 14 days. That's not the real issue here. The issue here is when you have a series of times where you have to get up at the same time every day, that's very good at setting a good, healthy rhythm for you. For example, if we start at 6 a.m. in the morning, we often have to wake up at, say, 5 a.m. depending on how far we travel to work. But let's use that example from here on. Monday to Friday, you wake up at 5 o'clock, you should be in bed at 10 past 9 and asleep within the next 5 minutes, really. Now, if you carry that regime out for 4 nights straight and you get to Friday, you often find that Friday night, instead of going to bed at 10 past 9, because you don't have to get up early on the Saturday morning, you might find that you let it run out till about 11, maybe midnight before you go to sleep, and have a nice little lazy sleep in on Saturday morning to, say, 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. But of course, don't forget what I said in that 10th episode, that your sleep onset time comes 16 hours and 10 minutes after you're woken up. So let's just say if your first day of R&R, you're waking up at 8 in the morning, your sleep onset time that night is set for just after midnight. Well, that's okay. You take that into Saturday, and then Saturday night you also go to bed late and get to sleep about midnight, have another lazy little sleep in. Sunday morning, get your roughly 8 hours of sleep, wake up at 8 o'clock, have a wonderful day. And that night, because you're going to work the next day, you will make an attempt to go to bed early. And if you know you've got to wake up at 5, you might think, well, I should be in bed by 9 o'clock to get that 8 hours of sleep. And with the best intentions, you go to bed at 9 o'clock and you lay there tossing and turning and wondering why you can't get to sleep. That will be because it's not your sleep time yet. You have set your sleep time now back to midnight onset. And of course, the problem there is if you toss and turn for a couple of hours, you might start then developing what we call sleep anxiety. And that is having trouble getting to sleep because you're anxious about not being able to get to sleep. And that makes the problem worse. Now, if that happens and you just end up with about 5 hours of sleep before the alarm goes off Monday morning, really not a good start to the week, is it? If you've had a 5-hour sleep, if you're driving, that's roughly 3 times the risk of a crash. If you work in any workplace, roughly 3 times the likelihood of an incident happening to you in that workplace. And of course, it'd be nice if you could catch up on sleep the following night, but your 3 hours sleep, you won't be able to catch that all up in one night. You might be able to catch up, say, half of it. And if you do that on the second night back, say Tuesday night, you might be able to catch up the other half as well. That's all well and good if you're not in a 12-hour job. If you're in a 12-hour job, you don't have enough time left over to usually be able to catch up on these short sleeps of roughly 3 hours shorter than you need. So you're much better off trying to avoid Monday-itis in the first place. And the best way of doing that is if you're up at 5 every morning and you have the weekend off, Try not to go to bed too late Friday night. Maybe push it out to 10 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock and have that little bit of extra time awake to enjoy life. And sleep until maybe 6 o'clock on Saturday morning. That sets your bedtime for 10 past 10 that night. And then if you repeat that on Saturday night, Sunday morning, then when you go to bed on Sunday night, you still won't get to bed before 10 past 10. But if you do get to bed at 10 past 10, you should be fast asleep. And you'll at least get 7 hours of sleep before Monday starts. That's the best way of avoiding Monday-itis. There's one even better way, but it's a pretty hard ask, and that would be keep exactly the same rhythm on the weekends or on your rostered days off that you have on your work days. In the case of the 5 a.m. example, that would be going to bed at 10 past 9 every night and waking up at 5 o'clock every morning. So you do that Monday to Friday, but you also do it Saturday and Sunday. If you're on a week about, so 7 days R&R, it's even harder to do that because most people who do those sorts of rosters are in mining and they'll get up at about 4:30. And of course, you don't want to be getting up at 4:30 on your days off. What I recommend there is if you've got a whole week off, is maybe let yourself go a little bit for the first 4 or 5 days, but maybe a couple of days before you start back, just have a practice run at getting up early, say 5 o'clock. And what you'll do is you'll have a bit of a short sleep that night, and that will kickstart your rhythm for that night to go to bed just around 9 o'clock. And you'll slowly get back into a closer rhythm to what you will have for that next 7 days in the workplace. Give that a bit of thought. It's all about rhythms. Your body and brain loves good, solid rhythms. And it's when you put these rhythms out that you have trouble with Monday-itis or first day-itis. So just try not to go too far out of rhythm. All right, so that's it for this week. I'll talk to you again very soon with episode 12. In the meantime, sleep well. Don't forget to eat well and exercise. These 3 pillars of health will keep you in really good shape. See you soon.